Coach Becky with your Friday Fit Tip. So this month, we're talking all about functional exercise. And usually when we speak about functional exercise, we're talking about exercise that mimics normal human motion. Lunging, squatting, pushing, pulling, anything that mimics normal human function. So one of the exercises we talked about last week was the push-up. This week, we're going to talk about the plank. The plank is an absolutely fabulous exercise for the core, for core stability, because our abs don't just help us crunch, they help stabilize the spine and they help stabilize the hips. So, we probably know how to do a standard plank. What can we do to make the plank a little bit different? Maybe hit the abs a little bit differently or add more of a challenge. So that's what we're going to do today in this Friday Fit Tip. We're going to talk about the standard plank. We go down onto elbows and toes, and we hold basically a straight line from our head to our butt to our heels. The modification would be here. But now let's think about how can we ramp this up? What about if I go from a low plank to a high plank, and then back down to a low plank, and back to a high plank? Now I've got that upper body pushing coming on, and my core has to stabilize in a different way because I'm wobbling a little bit. So we call that here at Life Sport Fitness the push-up plank. I think other fitness professionals have different names, but that's what we call that one. Another one I like for somebody who's done really well with a standard plank is I just want them to move a little bit more to add more of a stabilization effort. So what we do is we ask them to tap their toes, and it looks like this. They're here in their standard plank, and we ask them to have quiet hips, to not move the hips. We don't want them rolling around like so. We're just slightly tapping that foot out. We could also do this from high plank position. Okay? Then what we could also do is change the part of the body that's moving. I'll face you on this one. I'm going to have my hands a little closer together than my feet, so I look a little like a triangle. And I'm going to do a chest tap plank. I guess technically I'm shoulder tapping, but you get the picture. Now, when I have this arm up, that puts a rotational force on my core. So I have to use those abs, and our cue is we tell people keep your hip bones pointing toward your floor. So we really have to resist a rotational torque when we do that chest tap plank. So that's another way you can kind of ramp up the type of plank that you do. Another one we can do, I'll give you the side view here, is we can lengthen the lever arm, make the abs kind of be on a little bit of a stretch while we're planking. And that look like this. I walk my feet back, that plank just got harder. Then I come forward, that's a little easier. Walk back and walk forward. So every time I walk back, because my arms are further forward, the abs are having to stabilize more as they're being stretched a little bit. And then finally, one of my favorites is the Spidey plank, Spider-Man. We usually do this one in high plank, but it can be done in both high and low. We go into high plank position. We've got that nice, beautiful plank. Head, buns, and heels are aligned. And then we're like Spidey. We climb up the building. Okay? And we talk about quiet hips on this one as well, so that we're not dropping the hips necessarily. Okay? So that's Spidey. And then speaking of dropping the hips, we can add a knee drop, which will kind of drop the hips as well, in another type of a plank variation. Watch me here. So we're here, and now I'm going to drop a knee, and I'm going to drop a knee. If I want to get real fancy, I could take my leg out. Whoops, I got caught up in my pants there. There we go. So again, what we're doing to increase our plank challenge is moving a body part, changing the lever arc, changing how hard the abs have to work, or adding some movement, the toe tap, the Spidey, anything to make that stabilization effort greater. So that's your Friday Fit Tip on how to increase the work or the effort or the intensity of your planks. So go try some of those planks. Let me know how it goes. Have a great Friday.